Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, vstreetlove. I'm Vanessa, my pronouns are she, her, and on this channel, I like to make silly Sims videos. And today, we are building Mrs. Puff's boating school in The Sims 4. This is a sequel to when I built the Krusty Krab in The Sims 4. You can check that out wherever the link ends up popping up. I'm just pointing whichever way. Or you can just kind of put a pin in it and you can watch that after you watch this video. But yes, this is a sequel to that. Actually built this at around the same time as I built the Krusty Krab, and that was like a year ago. So I've just been sitting on this footage for a year. You gotta love it. Love that for me, honestly. And I said to myself, I didn't want this footage to go to waste because I actually did have fun building this. And I thought it was really cool. And I was just like, yeah, let me just go ahead and talk and post about it now. And what's fun about waiting a year is that I get to watch this footage and be like, why did I do it like that? That's so interesting, because just the order of operations of how I even did these things was confusing to me. For example, the first thing that I did was I covered the entire lot in sand, which I guess like does make sense, but then it also kind of made things harder to see as I was building. Strange. And then I was fighting for my life with the little lighthouse thing. I wanted it to like angle like how a lighthouse does, but we can't do that in the game. Like all of our walls go straight up and down. So I was going back and forth on how I was gonna like try to make it look angled. I was thinking like maybe I could use roofing and then it'll look, and then eventually I just was like, no, I'm just gonna make it just a cylinder and you get what it is. And then I'm building the track, like the driving track for the test. I'm looking at sketches and sketches. I'm looking at like screenshots or something from the show as I'm actually working on this as well. So that's why I was getting really meticulous with how the path actually worked in this speed build. And I actually started by thinking I was gonna paint it. I thought it was gonna be easier to paint. And then as I did it, I was like, I'm gonna just use regular floor tiles because it will be more precise and I think easier that way. So it kind of turned into going from like a sketch, like a sketched idea of what the track was gonna look like to me actually trying to like make it look precise. Anyway, like that's in the granular details. The higher level details for this build are, it's a functioning high school. It actually does function. I did play test this. Isn't that funny? Play tested this a year ago. A year ago, I didn't have businesses and hobbies in the game when I built this. I feel like businesses and hobbies would be a perfect second iteration for this high school. I almost even was like, let me go and re-download it and maybe like update it for businesses and hobbies. And then I was like, no, let's get this video out. Didn't have Enchanted by Nature when I built this. So much has happened since I first made this. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny because I'm just like, wow, so much. There's been a lot that has happened. And this has just been sitting on my computer the whole time. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that the Mrs. Puff's boating school would be fun to do next because one, I did want to make a functioning high school. I thought that would be funny. And two, it's kind of fun, like making things that are inspired by things I would never even try to encounter in The Sims. Yeah, we don't even have functioning cars in the game. You know, it's like, how cool would it be to do like a little driver's test or something on a lot like this, right? Like, but that doesn't exist. I don't have mods. There might be mods for it, but I don't have mods for that. Anyway. Yeah, no, this was cute though to actually build and like make it look like how it does in the show. A lot of fun actually. And having like memories of like moments that I thought were really funny on Spongebob. I went through a SpongeBob phase last year when I wanted some laughs. I would watch some SpongeBob. And I think that was also part of what inspired me to do the Krusty Krab, to do the boating school. Actually watching the footage for this as I was preparing for this video, I was thinking like, you know what would be fun to do next is to make Patrick's house. I know logically like, oh, I should make SpongeBob's house, but I think it would be so much fun to make Patrick's rock and also make some super intricate underground house or something. I think that could be funny. So I might do that next just because in watching this, I was like, actually, that would be fun to like try and experiment with like, what does Patrick's life look like under that rock? Or one episode that I love to watch is the one where Patrick goes with SpongeBob to boating school and then SpongeBob ends up getting in trouble and losing one of his little gold stars or whatever. Just, it's peak comedy. SpongeBob is top tier comedy. I don't care what anybody says. I do think that there is a generational divide when it comes to SpongeBob. I've heard that the first 3 seasons is when the original creator was involved, and then after that is when the original creator maybe wasn't involved. Someone fact check me on that, because that's something I heard from somewhere on TikTok, I think. And I was just like, I took it as truth. If I hear it on TikTok, it is the truth. I feel like the boomers with Facebook, when a boomer sees something on Facebook, they're like, I saw it on Facebook, it's true. And then you have to be like, no, that's not true. That's AI. That's fake news. That's me with TikTok. Like, someone has to come back and be like, just because you heard it on TikTok does not mean it was true. And I'm like, are you sure? Anyway, so yeah, someone fact check whether or not he was involved or not. My point though is that old SpongeBob is hilarious. Like, old SpongeBob is top tier comedy. It's not just kids comedy too. You know how Shrek is like a kids movie, but also like not a kids movie? Like the first Shrek movie, there's some jokes that would go over a kid's head. That's how early SpongeBob is. Like, watching it as an adult, I'm like, this is hilarious in an adult way. And also like the kid part of me way still thinks it's funny, right? So watching that episode where Patrick is getting SpongeBob in trouble and he just is like not aware of what he's doing wrong or why, I'm like, yeah, I relate to SpongeBob. I also feel like SpongeBob was so neurotic. As a kid, I also kind of related to that too. I was very much a rule follower, very much, trying to be optimistic, and SpongeBob like definitely tapped into that side, of me as a kid. And watching it as an adult, still hilarious, still funny, still enjoyable. But I feel like the newer episodes, like all of the episodes after the 3rd season, I'm not even sure I fully am aware of. Like, I do notice when I am on TikTok, there are like clips that I'll see of the show going viral because, somebody will post a piece of the show and then people will start quoting in the comments. And that is one thing I do have in common with like older Gen Z, is we could go quote for quote on SpongeBob to a point, because then they start quoting like the newer seasons and the later episodes, and I'm like, I don't know her. I don't know her at all. I'm with the OG SpongeBob, not with that new SpongeBob. Anything that came after the movie, no, that's not the SpongeBob I know. I don't know that SpongeBob at all. And that's what's interesting about like the random generational wars that happens online sometimes, is because the crossover is there. Like, as much as there is this like Gen Z versus millennial online war, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, honestly, good for you. I am more online than I would even like to admit. I'm the most chronically online of all of my friends and family. So sometimes I'm seeing all this random stuff that's going on TikTok, and it's just like unnecessary drama, unnecessary nonsense, including millennials versus Gen Z. As far as I'm concerned, it's been millennials versus everybody since I learned what the generations were. Since I was in college, everyone has been blaming millennials for all kinds of things. Gen Z is calling us cringe, and it's millennial cringe. Boomers are saying that we were killing all the different industries. We killed the diamond industry, the housing industry, the wine industry. Even now the birth rates are going down. I'm sure they're blaming that on us as well, right? But I find it interesting because culturally, because I'm like the last of the millennials, I'm a 90s baby. Culturally, I have a lot in common with older Gen Z. We watch some of the same things. We make some of the same references. We have similar life experiences in some way. And I do find that hilarious, because I'm like, yeah, that when I am scrolling on my feed and seeing these SpongeBob memes and whatever, I'm like, I can keep up because that's what I grew up with as well. SpongeBob was originally started when I was a child, and I was one of the first of the generation to enjoy it. And then it went on past me, way past when I would watch it. Anyway, full disclosure, sometimes I feel like I'm losing my train of thought. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I have to go back and look at like, what was I talking about? What was I saying? So I'm just going to move on. I'm going to come back to this build for a second. And what I do want to say is I think that this is an excellent exercise if you are getting bored with the game. Coming and trying to recreate something from your favorite movie or favorite TV show is just a great exercise in looking at The Sims 4 in a new way. I know that there are creators who do this all the time, but I don't. Like, basically, whenever I'm inspired to do something because like I've watched a show or a movie or whatever, that's when I kind of like go and do it. And if I'm not reading something or if I'm not watching something, like, you know, I might go through little dry spells of like what to do in The Sims if there's no new content, especially. But I really feel like if you are getting bored in the game, or if you're not sure what to do in the game, or if you need a break from what you are currently doing, but you still want to be in the game, this is a great exercise. I think taking a scene or something from a movie that you love and trying to recreate it in The Sims, or taking a set like how I'm doing here and trying to recreate it in The Sims, I feel like it's a great way to play the game, and it might be a break from what you normally do. Like I've seen a creator, I can't remember who it was right now, and it was probably last year, probably when I originally did this. But I did see a creator like recreate the girls from Mean Girls. You know, I feel like that could be a fun thing to do, especially with the new creator kit, the Sweet Allure creator kit. I think that would be like a great kit to use if you want to recreate all of the characters from Mean Girls. Even this, like what I was saying earlier about recreating Patrick's house, you could do that with Squidward. You could do that with Spongebob. You could pick a different show. I know when I was making the Krusty Krab, I was talking about how I was thinking about making the Steven Universe house. It's not a house, like they live in like a rock face or something, right? But I was talking about that then. And then, you know, life happens and I got distracted, honestly. But yeah, like it's so much fun. Even watching me do this, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Like I can't wait to do something like this again. And it does work. Like I said, it is functional. So I can actually place this down and my Sims can go here as a high school. I wouldn't normally do that because I like for my things to be realistic. And I guess that's my question for y'all. When you play the game, are you trying to keep the game super, super realistic, or are you trying to go like silly, silly, whimsical? Because this is definitely silly, silly, whimsical. Like I need to get a save where I have all of this silly stuff that I make and it just like, it's all in there and that's just like canon for the world. Like, yeah, all my Sims go to this high school and no one is thinking twice about the fact that it doesn't even make sense for like a real Sims world. This is just the high school in the save, you know? Or like when you go to the restaurant, you go to the Krusty Krab. Like that's just like, they're not aware of SpongeBob in the Sims world. That's not even a thing. This is canon to their world. Yeah, but most of the time I'm playing like super realistic. So it's nice to get a break. Like when I need a break or when I'm trying to do something different, this is the kind of thing that I totally recommend that you do. And I say this too about occults. Like when I was streaming, oh, and yeah, I do stream. I stream on this channel and I stream on Twitch. So if you like watching live streams on Twitch, make sure you follow me, twitch.tv/vstreetlove. That's it. But when I'm live streaming, someone mentioned how they don't really like playing with occults. And I recently streamed as a ghost. Like my Sim was a ghost. She was looking through a telescope and then she died from a meteorite. So I had to go through this whole adventure to bring her back to life with ambrosia. But somebody was watching and they basically were like, oh, I don't even normally play with occults, but watching you play is kind of making me think about it. And that's one of those things I'm like, if you get bored in the game, do something different than what you normally do. And if you don't normally play with occults, make a separate save and start playing with occults. Like, I think boredom comes from doing the same thing over and over again and not being surprised, not getting anything like new. You feel like you've done it all. Like you're not trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You're not trying to explore different ways to play the game. And that's where people like me come in, like, right? Like that's where the content creators come in, because we come in and we're like, oh, we tried this thing. Like, look at this thing that we tried. You want to try it in your game? And you're like, no, but it was nice to watch you, right? Or sometimes it's like, oh, you know what? I like what you did, but it gave me the idea to do this. And then you go and try something else in the game, which if this build gives you an idea of something that you're going to do in your game, let me know in the comments, because I like seeing what you guys end up doing in your game, because it gives me more ideas of what to do in my game. It's a symbiotic relationship, okay? Like I do and I share with you, and then you do and then you share with me, and then that makes me want to do and share with you, and then it makes you want to do and share with me, right? Like that's what this is. Anyway, in regards to the actual build, so the whole time that I have been working on the outside, I was looking at screenshots from the show. So I had gone on Google or wherever, and maybe I even grabbed some screenshots myself from the show. And I was trying to basically match, I guess, like I was heavily inspired with the actual like driving track from the show, with the placement of the lighthouse, with, you know, the building shape and the colors, which the colors of the decorations and stuff is weird, because I realized that Mrs. Puff's boating school is like has like green trim, a weird like yellow wood or something. I just was like, oh, when I was like really looking at it to recreate it, I was like, this is not what I would choose. But I'm recreating this, so I'm gonna do my best to like match. But then from there, inside, we do have some screenshots of like what the inside of Mrs. Puff's boating school looks like. That being said, I definitely took the most liberties with what was going on inside because I had to build a functional high school for The Sims 4. That didn't necessarily match with what was going on in the show. And you know how TV shows are, especially SpongeBob, like how you think something looks, they will totally change it another time. And I think eventually they decided like what things were where, but scale, how big the rooms were, whether or not there were stairs, whether or not the stairs were on the left side or the right side, all of that changed throughout the show. So at that point, I was just like, I'm just gonna do me. I know I needed to have like a little cafeteria. I know I needed to have some lockers. I know we needed to have stairs. They do have stairs in the show because that episode where SpongeBob loses a star because him and Patrick are goofing off, there are stairs in the hallway when they go to fight. And so I knew I had that like technically like right, like there is some sort of upstairs or something, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter what it looked like on the inside because basically I was just gonna do what I want. And my original plan for the layout was I was gonna have well, actually, let me be real honest. My original plan for the layout didn't even really make sense. Because I cut it out of the speed build, but there was a point where I tried to grab everything that I needed to check off all of the requirements for a high school and like just place them in the building. But then I was like, that doesn't make any sense because I haven't done the floor plan. So then I had to get rid of all that stuff. And then I made a floor plan. But in making the floor plan, can I speak? In making the floor plan, I forgot about the principal's office. So where the principal's office was supposed to be a small bathroom. And then I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So let me go ahead and just make this a little bigger. And then I'll just sneak a bathroom upstairs. And hence why there's some teeny tiny little bathroom upstairs. Just because I was like, I mean, we should have 2 bathrooms at least. And I guess this is, this gets in where it fits in. Then for the classrooms, I was trying to decide like the layout for the classrooms. At first I had just like a few desks in there. And then I realized I don't have like the teacher's desk. So then I had to make space for the teacher's desk. How do y'all build? Because when I build, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of, yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot this. I often forget bathrooms in my layouts. I forget that they need to go to the bathroom. Another thing that I think I cut out of this and I don't actually show in the speed build portion of this is the high school, you need like a treadmill or something. So then I had to add a treadmill to the lighthouse because they need to work out. And so I added it to the lighthouse. There's probably other things that I missed in this, but it's like, if you end up downloading this, please let me know because I do want to know if anybody actually cares to put this in their game. I don't think I was missing anything outside of the treadmill, because I don't think I put that in originally. I put it in after I play tested. So I can only hope that the play tested version that I did is on the gallery, which does bring me back to the main point of this is that I did film this a year ago. I filmed the speed build. I built this build a year ago, and I could have just let it go and been like, it's lost media. It'll never go online. But it's back to school season, and I thought, might as well post it now, rather late than never. And that really is the message for me today. Like, this has been a to-do list for me, or on my to-do list for a year. Just every now and then I'm remembering like, oh, when I have the Mrs. Puff speed build, I got to post a sequel to that. And I just don't want to feel like that about my channel. This is supposed to be my space where I have fun. I experiment with different things in The Sims. I tell stories that I want to tell. This is supposed to be basically like a safe space for you and for me. So having this build just kind of like looming in the background for so long was making me feel just anxious, but then also kind of like, I don't know, like I'm not a serious content creator or something. I'm not even sure. So I'm just really grateful that I'm actually doing this right now and that you all get to see it. And I was also worried that maybe it wasn't as cute as I thought. And then watching the speed build, I was like, this is cute. Like even looking, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, this is actually so cute. And it's hilarious to me. I think this is funny. Just on principle, because like, what do you mean? Like, why? On one end, it's like, why did I do this? Who asked for this? Nobody. but I thought it would be funny and I did it and it's so much fun to me. And I hope you've enjoyed it. If nothing else, if you did enjoy listening to me yap, let's pretend this whole time you've had me on mute. Maybe you have the subtitles on because you're like, I don't even want to listen to you speak. Hopefully you've enjoyed actually looking at it. And I feel like there would be some other fun ideas of like different high schools that you can do that are based on television shows. This is not even a high school. And also like businesses and hobbies wasn't out when I made this. There's so many ways that this build can be updated for the modern era. And I built this a year ago. It wasn't that long ago. Like it was, but also in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, it was just last year. So much has changed in the last year. So much in my own life has changed in the last year. I think part of the reason why it took me so long to get this build up is because I was going through it. Like my personal life was kind of just all over the place last year. Looking at this build, the speed build footage was fun for me because it's like, wow, I've really, even in a year, I've come a long way. Not just with how I build, because like, I don't think I built that much in the last year, but even watching me do stuff, I was kind of like, really? Like, why did you do it like that? But also just because it's like a little time capsule of like where my channel was. At the point of me doing this voiceover recording, I have 16,500 subscribers. This time last year, I had 2,500 subscribers. And if you were one of them 2,500, thank you so much for being here. And if you are a new subscriber, you're subscribing right now just because I'm talking about it. Thank you. I appreciate you too. I love that I get to do this. This is like one of the coolest things that I've done just in my life ever. Like being able to just show up online and have fun playing The Sims and share that love of The Sims with other people is some of the coolest stuff ever. Like growing up, I was one of the only, if not very few of the people that I knew who enjoyed The Sims, and nobody enjoyed it as much as I did. I swear they didn't. Because I loved The Sims. So being able to take up as much space as I need to talk about The Sims and like gaming stuff in general has been so cool. So I appreciate you for being here. And let's jump into the game. Let me actually show you this live. Okay, so this is Mrs. Puff's boarding school in the flesh, or I guess in the pixels. This is actually an active school day that I have my sim on right now so that we can actually look at it. But yeah, isn't this so cute? Again, I have not actually looked at this in a year. So I'm like, wow, look how fun this is. I remember meticulously placing each of these orange cones, and I actually ended up placing each of these cones twice because I used the cones that came with like Eco Lifestyle at first, and then I saw that high school years came with their own cones. So then I went and then replaced them with the high school years cones. It's a lot. And then, yeah, the lighthouse. Yeah, the lighthouse has the one treadmill. No windows. Oh, wait, the window is here. But just looking at a wall, I didn't even bother putting anything else in there. That's actually hilarious. But yeah, the Sims load up at the front here. Then they go up the stairs past all the boats, okay, or what would be cars if we had them. And then this is the front hallway here where they have the lockers. We've got the cafeteria, like little, what do you call this? We've got the cafeteria bar item. I don't remember what it's called right now, but it's breakfast time. There's no breakfast food. I obviously haven't gone with my Sims to high school in a minute. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so we've got the front here. We've got like the dining area, which wraps around this whole center area. You can also have your Sims doing homework. Originally, I had the base game version of the wallpaper everywhere, but then I went back and used the city living version. That's a little bit dirtier to kind of like, I don't know, indicate that it's more scuffed up. Oh, and then I added a little sign here for like, you know, oh yeah, here's the food area. We've got the principal's office. So she's sitting here at the desk. Does she need a computer? She don't look like she need one. She might need a computer. I'm gonna let it ride. And then out the back, it's just more of the little course or whatever. And then out the football field that's outside. On this side of the cafeteria, I've got the bathroom with a few little decorative objects and then like a mirror and some paper towels. If your Sims go upstairs, there's a bathroom here, just a small toilet and sink. But then we've got the first classroom and then the second classroom. So what I try to do with the seats is the front row has like clean seats and clean chairs, and then the back row has like all the scuffed like desks and the scuffed seats, because it kind of reminded me of that episode of SpongeBob where he gets sent to the back and he's horrified by all of the marks that people left on the desk. I thought that was funny. And yeah, the bell is ringing, so now everyone's going to class. It's kind of fun to see it working. And hopefully I have enough seats for everybody. I think I do, because we got a lot of students coming over here. Okay, I vaguely remember this in my test, that we have just not enough seats for everyone. Cool. I just think it's funny that I have just enough seats for the Sims who are in the secondary class, but not enough seats for the Sims who are in my class. I don't care. It is what it is. Like I said, it's been a year. This is the best we're gonna get, people. But look how this is, honestly, I do think that this is really cute. Also, if you just need some encouragement of making your own high school and making it a lot smaller, because doesn't this look full when I've got these small classrooms and then like fewer desks? We got so many students that we don't have enough desks for all of them. Anyway, if you need encouragement to make your own high school, this is it. And so, yeah, I think the only thing that this high school is missing is like a library and computers. But, you know, that's not what the vibe was. The vibe was Mrs. Puff's boating school. If you are interested in having this build in your game for whatever reason, it's called Mrs. Puff's Boating School. And yep, look at this. Shared July 2024. Love that for me. It says I used something from Werewolves. What the heck? It says that I used this fence from Werewolves, and I did, but that was just, you're not gonna see it in the game. If you're not sure what somebody uses from a pack and you want to know, you can just click on the button here when you're in the gallery and then go to show used items, and it'll show you which from that pack you actually use. So I can see this fence here and I can tell you if you don't have Werewolves, that's fine, because the fence that I used was just the block off the stairs, so I can get rid of the extra flooring on the stairs. You know, City Living, I just used the wallpaper. So if you don't have City Living, you should still be able to download this. The main thing you need is high school years. Everything else is just kind of like, I feel like a nice to have. But that's it. That's the build. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like and share this video, and turn on the post notifications so you know when my next video goes up. I go live weekly on this channel and on Twitch, so you're going to want to be subscribed and follow me for that. And if you're interested in supporting me and supporting the channel, and you're going to be buying some new packs soon, please consider using my code vstreetlove when you go to check out on the EA app or Sims 4 website. When you use the code vstreetlove, I get a small commission on the sale. It is not a discount, but it is a way to support me as a creator. And again, if you can't support me financially, a like and a subscribe goes a long way. But don't worry, there's more fun to be had on the channel. Make sure you check out the other videos I have. And until next time, y'all, dag dag!